U.S. and Philippines sink 12 Chinese boats near Ayungin in the South China Sea. Welcome to our video on the latest developments in the South China Sea, where U.S. and Philippine naval forces sank 12 Chinese fishing boats near Ayungin, a disputed reef claimed by both China and the Philippines. The incident highlights the ongoing territorial disputes in the region and the growing tensions between China and neighboring countries. In this video, we will examine the background of the incident, the geopolitical context of the South China Sea, and the implications of the recent developments. The South China Sea is a critical strategic location that is home to some of the world's busiest shipping lanes and abundant fishing grounds. It is also a region of geopolitical importance, with multiple overlapping territorial claims by several countries. China claims nearly 90% of the South China Sea, which is disputed by other countries, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan. The territorial disputes have led to ongoing tensions and occasional clashes between these countries. The recent incident near Ayungin Reef began on March 12, 2023, when U.S. and Philippine naval forces conducted a joint patrol in the area. The patrol encountered 12 Chinese fishing boats that were operating illegally in the waters claimed by the Philippines. The Philippine Navy hailed the Chinese vessels and demanded that they leave the area, but the Chinese boats refused to comply. The Philippine Navy then fired warning shots, but the Chinese boats still did not leave. The U.S. Navy then joined the operation and sent several warships to the area. The Chinese boats continued to resist, and after several hours of negotiations, the U.S. and Philippine navies made the decision to sink the Chinese vessels. The incident marks the first time that the U.S. and Philippine navies have conducted joint military operations in the South China Sea. The Chinese government has condemned the incident, claiming that the Chinese fishing boats were operating in its traditional fishing grounds and accusing the U.S. and the Philippines of violating China's sovereignty. The incident has further escalated tensions between China and neighboring countries in the region. The South China Sea disputes are rooted in historical and legal claims to the region's islands, reefs, and waters. China claims the region based on its 9-line map, which it says shows the extent of its historical claims. However, other countries dispute China's claims and point to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which recognizes the rights of countries to claim territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles from their coastlines. The South China Sea disputes have significant geopolitical implications. The region is a critical trade route for the global economy, with over $5 trillion in trade passing through its waters each year. The disputes have also led to increased military presence and activity in the region, with China building military bases on artificial islands in the region and conducting military exercises. The U.S. has also increased its military presence in the region, conducting freedom of navigation operations and providing military support to its allies. Chinese Coast Guard vessels challenged and shadowed a Philippine boat tasked to deliver supplies and noche buena items to troops manning the rusting BRP Sierra Madre, grounded in Ayungin Shoal in the West Philippine Sea, the military said Sunday. The Armed Forces Western Command said the Philippine resupply boat received radio challenges from a Chinese Coast Guard vessel, claiming that the sea is under the jurisdiction of the People's Republic of China, that they are allowing supplies to be delivered, and warned that bringing construction materials will be dealt with. These radio challenges would always be followed by CCG's shadowing and close maneuvers against Philippine supply boats to try to disrupt the mission, the Western Command continued. The Mischief Garrison is in our country's exclusive economic zone and is China's closest military facility to Palawan. That is why resupply missions are critical in maintaining our presence in Ayungin, Western Command Commander Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos said in a statement. China has had a history of blocking Philippine resupply boats to Ayungin, with it often accusing these vessels of trespassing. A 2016 ruling by a Hague-based arbitral tribunal voided China's sweeping claims over the strategic waterway, but Beijing still refuses to acknowledge the award. Another Chinese militia vessel, Tiangsanqiu-00214, was tracked near the shoal's entrance as the Chinese Coast Guard and militia ships surrounded the BRP Cape Engano. The vessels all maintained their positions for several hours before the Cape Engano turned back eastward, encouraged by the approaching 5303, which tailed it until it left the area heading northwest toward unoccupied Whitsun Reef. National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea Chair and National Security Advisor, Hermogenes Esperanger and Defense Secretary Delphin Lorenzana did not respond to requests for comment about the incidents. Ayungin Shoal is a low-tide elevation located 194 kilometers, 105 nautical miles, off Palawan and is within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. It is occupied by a small military contingent at the BRP Sierra Madre, a World War II landing ship tank intentionally grounded there by the Philippine Navy in 1999 to serve as a military outpost. China claims the entire South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea. The Philippines, China, Brunei, Vietnam, Taiwan, and Malaysia have overlapping maritime claims in these waters. An international arbitral tribunal ruled in 2016 to invalidate Beijing's fictitious claims within its so-called 9-dash line, but Beijing refuses to recognize the ruling. The new incidents in Ayungin Shoal came 5 months after the Philippine government protested CCG vessels blocking and blasting of water cannons on Philippine boats on a resupply mission to BRP Sierra Madre. The long-term plan for China seems to be to make it so dangerous and costly that the Philippines abandons the Sierra Madre, polling told the Inquirer. The MTI analysis also included 2 incidents that had been previously reported in the media. China's square-off with a Taiwanese research vessel in the northern Philippines in March, which included Filipino scientists on board, and CCG's shadowing of ships on a unilateral oil exploration initiated by a Philippine-based firm in the West Philippine Sea in April. China clearly succeeded with its aggressive tactics, the MT said, after it convinced the Philippines to reverse a decision to lift a moratorium on oil and gas exploration in the West Philippine Sea. The Duterte administration suspended unilateral exploration activities in April out of concerns over a possible conflict with China. Polling said he expected China to behave exactly the same when President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., who is perceived by critics as friendly to Beijing, takes office on June 30. It didn't change his behavior under President Rodrigo Duterte despite all the fawning. They've been getting worse year after year. But it isn't because Beijing worries about who is in power in Manila. It's a result of China's growing strength and its aggressive policies. The recent sinking of 12 Chinese fishing boats near Ayungin Reef highlights the ongoing territorial disputes and escalating tensions in the South China Sea. The incident is the latest in a series of incidents that have heightened tensions between